Assalamualaikum waalaikumsalam. Assalamualaikum
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum waalaikumsalam.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All praise due to Allah the Almighty, the Lord of the worlds. May Allah's peace, mercy and blessings be upon His final and last messenger, Muhammad. And may Allah's peace, mercy and blessings be upon each and every one of you, dear viewers, watching this new episode of your program, The Revelation.
Assalamualaikum waalaikumsalam.
In today's episode, my dear viewers, we will find the answer to two important questions that are related to observing the fasting of Ramadan and fasting in general.
Submission, faith, and patience, you conveyed the noble message, brought us light through your guidance. Peace be upon you, my beloved, Ya Habibi, Ya Muhammad.
What is the ruling if the individual eats or drinks out of forgetfulness, i.e. unintentionally? They just forgot that they are fasting and they ate, or they just came to drink some water. So what will be the ruling in this case? Does this, for instance, invalidate the fasting or not? Of course, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful and the entirely merciful. And also the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was always keen to clarify to the companions how merciful the Islamic jurisprudence is and how merciful the teachings of Islam are. So the answer is, if the person eats or drinks unintentionally or out of forgetfulness, then in this case their fasting is valid and is correct, and the person is to continue observing the fasting as they normally do, as indicated by the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is just a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the person is to continue the fasting.
يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر.
In the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Compassionate. God desires ease for you and not hardship.
The person who drank or who has eaten before the Maghrib prayer, thinking that it is the time of Maghrib, or it is the case of a person who eats and drinks at the time of the Fajr, thinking that it is not the time of Fajr yet, or it is not the time of dawn yet. Here, the majority of the Muslim scholars said in this case, because the person was supposed to make sure of the timing, so because it was just a mere thinking or just a mere assumption, so in this case they are required to continue fasting if it's about the time of Fajr, and then it turned out that it was actually the time of Fajr. So in this case, the person is to continue fasting, yet in both cases, they will have to make up for this day which came to be invalidated for not making sure of the timing. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون.
In the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Compassionate. God desires ease for you and not hardship, and He desires that you complete the ordained period and glorify God for His guidance to you, that you may be grateful.
A very important and a very interesting question, which is actually a contemporary question that has to do with fasting. As many raise the question of, what if I am traveling during observing the month of Ramadan, for instance, from Egypt to the States, and it is a one-way flight with no transit in any airport in between. So in this case, a very important thing that we need to understand, in this scenario, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it permissible for us to break the fasting and to eat and to drink, and as a person, when the person needs to, and later on they can make up for this day. But if the person decides to fast, so the question is, when do they break their fasting? As a matter of fact, they are not supposed to break the fasting according to the country where the plane took off, nor according to the destination of their flight. What actually they need to know is that they are supposed to break the fasting at the point where they can actually witness sunset. So if this is accessible and this is within their capacity and they have access to see the sunset taking place, then in this case, this is the point at which the person breaks their fasting. Yet, if this is not within their capacity and it would be more of a hardship to determine this, then as I told you in the very beginning, in this case, they are okay to break their fasting, and later on they can make up for this day when they are in a position to.
أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين.
In the name of Allah, the merciful, the compassionate. For a certain number of days, but whoever among you is ill or is traveling, then he may fast a similar number of other days, and those who are unable shall effect a redemption by feeding a poor person.
With this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of today's episode. As always, you are most welcome to watch this one and the previous episodes on the official Facebook page and the rest of the social media. And for sure, as always, your comments, your feedback, your thoughts and your suggestions and your questions, of course, are always most welcome.
لما تحس انك في الجنة وانك من حواليك تتمنى انه يبقى العمر كله ما يمشيش، واما تلاقي الحب بيكتر وفي قلوبنا الله اكبر، يبقى فرحة كل مسلم بيها يعيش. نفتح قلوبنا كلنا ونقول بعلو يحسنا، ندعي نقول يا ربنا قربنا منك، وكتير بحس اني غلطة برجع لك وبكون ندمان، قلبي يعيش على طول تعبان لو مش جنبك.
يا رب يا رب انت اللي عالم باللي جوانا، يا رب اقبل صلاتنا وصومنا ودعانا، يا رب محتاجين لرحمتك. امين يا رب ارزقنا بجنتك، امين يا رب العالمين.
لما تاخدني الدنيا بعيد برجع من اول وجديد، بجري واطلب رحمتك تغفر لي ذنبي. شهر وكل عبادة وصوم، يلا الجنة في 30 يوم، بدعي يا رب برحمتك تغفر لي ذنبي. نفتح قلوبنا كلنا ونقول بعلو يحسنا، ندعي نقول يا ربنا قربنا.
Thank you so much. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamualaikum